The Houston Texans have such a good opportunity right now to absolutely capitalize this free agency on bringing in some stars to Houston. I mean, think about it. Who wouldn't want to play with CJ Stroud, with DeMeco Ryans as the head coach? And think about it one more time. CJ Stroud is on his rookie contract. The Texans are about to make a big splash. And I just got some huge news on what they're about to do next. Before we jump into the massive news you guys need to hear, comment down below one word to describe CJ Stroud in his rookie season. Just want to see what you guys come up with. But without any further ado, let's jump into what the Texans might have just hinted they're about to do this offseason. Now, I think right away we can all agree on one thing. The Texans offense this year under CJ Stroud was amazing. We got to give a lot of credit to offensive coordinator Bobby Slowick, but we can tell and we can be honest with ourselves, there was one area where they weren't that successful, right? They ranked number 29, almost dead last in the NFL in terms of yards per rush. They also ranked number 28 in rush yards per game and number 25 in rushing touchdowns per game. And that's not to discredit Devin Singletary. I feel like he really came on strong at the end of the year, but he's a pending free agent, and that's going to open up the door for the Texans to go out and pursue a couple of different options. Now, if we all know the potential free agents this season, there's some good ones. Tony Pollard of the Dallas Cowboys, Josh Jacobs of the Las Vegas Raiders, Austin Eckler of the LA Chargers. But one big one is about to hit the market, right? Derrick Henry. And you guys know Derrick Henry very well. He is scheduled to become a free agent along with Saquon Barkley. Now, comment down right now, who do you think would be the dream fit for the Houston Texans? Now, here's the big news. According to multiple NFL analysts right now, if Derrick Henry decides to leave the Tennessee Titans, the Houston Texans would be one of the biggest teams that he'd be interested in. And this makes a ton, and I mean a ton of sense for the Texans because they need to have a dominant ground game, and that is the one thing this team is missing, right? They need to be able to run the football. We talked about how they're ranking in terms of the run rate last season. We know how good of a passing attack team they are, but just imagine how good of a team they would be if Derrick Henry was here. And again, don't get me wrong, Devin Singletary is a solid player, but his lack of size and power showed up against some of the biggest defenses in the NFL this season. Now throw Derrick Henry into the mix. How much better would this team be? And yeah, maybe it is turning into a passing league right now, but when you can run the ball, that opens a lot more of the passing game as well, and can only benefit a guy like CJ Stroud. Now guys, there was just two big pieces of news that actually just dropped as I was filming this video, which is crazy timing. But before we get into that, do me a big favor guys, hit that like button just so we can get this video out to more Texans fans. I want to keep you guys updated throughout the entirety of the offseason, especially during the dead period when there's not much going on. I want to make sure you guys are kept up to date. Also, subscribe if you're new. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything to subscribe to the channel. So if you're enjoying the video, make sure you guys do that. But now let's talk a little bit about some more breaking news that we just heard coming out of Houston. Now, the first piece of news, which I think the other news is a little bit bigger, but here we go. According to Aaron Wilson, there is mutual interest between the Texans and tight end Dalton Schultz in a new deal. Guys, this would be massive. We know how big of an option he was for CJ Stroud. They've already built that connection. The Texans need to do one thing, and that is bring Dalton Schultz back. He is set to be a free agent this offseason after signing a one-year deal with the Texans. Basically what that was a prove-it deal. Can you come in and be that tight end for us? Well, yeah, he answered it. He definitely can be. He established himself as a reliable target for the breakout quarterback CJ Stroud. Now, listen, the Texans have plenty of cap space this season. We already talked about, what CJ Stroud contract currently is as a rookie. They have so much money. If they want to go and win the Super Bowl, they have to take advantage of the next 4 years while they have, CJ Stroud not making too much money, because I'm telling you right now, once he gets, through that threshold of these next couple of years, he's going to be one of the most highest paid players in the NFL. So the first thing they need to do is make this come to fruition and re-sign Dalton Schultz. But let's get into the next big piece of news that might even be bigger than this. Okay, now the biggest piece of news yet is regarding Nico Collins. We all know he's coming off an unbelievable breakout season in 2023. I think he had more receptions, more yards, more touchdowns in this year than he did in his prior 2 seasons combined, right? He says it right there. And listen, he's already built that chemistry with CJ Stroud. You have Dalton Schultz. Hopefully they re-sign him. You have Tank Dell coming off an injury. You add a guy like Derrick Henry. But you have to bring back Nico Collins as well. And I don't think he's going to be a free agent this season, but signing him to the extension would be massive, right? And we just got some big news. Look at this quote. So he was asked, would you like to sign an extension with the Texans? And this is what he said. He said, oh man, and quote unquote, oh man, I would love that. That would be great. I feel like that's what everyone works for. I'm just going to let it come to me. Whatever they decide, whatever they want to do, I'm going to let it ride. Me, I'm going to continue to get better and work on my game. If they want to negotiate, we can. Listen, this says it all right here. Oh man, I would love that. That would be great. Guys, he is all in. He is ready to continue to build a culture, to build an atmosphere here in Houston with CJ Stroud and Tank Dell and Derrick Henry, maybe. Guys, there's also Saquon Barkley who's out there as well. But I'm telling you right now, if these 3 pieces of news come to fruition and they bring in a guy like Derrick Henry, and it doesn't have to be just Derrick Henry, it could be a Saquon Barkley, it could be a Tony Pollard, right? Someone that's just going to elevate their running game. If they can do this, this would change everything. Okay, so guys, if you think Derrick Henry, if you agree with me and think that he would be a great fit coming over from Tennessee, comment down below the number 1. If you disagree with me, comment down below the number 2, but also put why and a different player you would like to see in Houston next season as their running back. Now listen, I get it. Henry is coming off probably his worst season of his career by, the terms of yards per attempt, but it was still at 4.1, right? Posted about 68.6 yards per game, his fewest since 2018. But listen, they had Tajee Spears. They were moving away from this offense. They were going with Will Levis. They're starting to get younger and younger and younger, right? Which tells us one thing. They're not going to run Derrick Henry into the ground knowing he's about to be a free agent. And that's just respectable, right? That is respectable by the Titans. But now he's a free agent. He had a slow year, which means he's going to come back ready to go. He's going to be back well rested, wasn't injured too much, and he's ready to go. If you bring him over here, on a, $10 million contract for 2 seasons, man, that would be massive. Taking the ball out of quarterback CJ Stroud's hands, isn't their priority, but opening up their running game would just benefit the passing game, right? And I think that should be something they focus on this offseason, because when you look at the numbers, when you crunch them down, they just were not good enough when it came down to the rushing attack. Now, with that being said, let me know in the comment section down below, what do you think is the biggest need for the Texans this offseason? They have a lot of pending free agents, but they have a lot of cap space as well. So hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, comment down below what you think they should do. And with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.